Hiya! In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a Mario Kart scarf. So it involves knitting, but it's not really hard because I'm a beginner knitter and I can do it, so you probably can too. I'm going to get some knit needles and some yarn. This is rainbow yarn, so I'm going to do a Rainbow Road themed one. So I'm going to take the end of the yarn, I'm going to make a slip knot in it. So it's got that hoop, and then I'm going to attach it to one of the needles, and now I'm going to cast on. So I'm going to take the other needle, I'm going to place it through the loop that's on the first needle, so you can see they're crossed over. Then I'm going to take the yarn and I'm going to place it through the middle of the two needles. Then I'm going to hook that piece of yarn onto the second needle and then slip it onto the first needle. I know I'm not explaining it very well, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So now I've got 2 stitches on there, so I'll do it again. Put the needle through the front hoop, so the needles are crossed, both needles are through that hoop. Take the yarn, put it in between the 2 needles, and then catch that bit of yarn onto the second needle and then slide it onto the first. Now you're going to need to do this, well, actually it depends on how thick you want your scarf. I done 40 stitches, but if you've got like really thick yarn you might actually want to do less. So once you've done that, we're now going to start knitting. So I'm going to build it up, make it longer. So you're going to do the same thing pretty much, but you're going to keep the stitch onto that second needle. So you put it through so they're crossed over, put the yarn in between them, and then pull it off the first needle. So you're going to put it through the stitch, put the yarn in between them both, catch it on the second needle and pull it off the first. And this is literally all you're going to do. So you want to do this until you get to the end, and then switch your needle to the other hand so the threads, the needle with all the threads on, always in the same hand. And then you just do layer by layer like that. With the one I done, I did do 1 row stitched. When I switched over it was pearl, but it really curls up at the sides and you have to put a border around it and it's just so much more work. So I recommend just doing the stitch the knit stitch, that's the one, because it ends up being a lot flatter than the knit one, pearl one. So this is what it looks like after I've done that first line. Like I say, you just flip it over and then repeat what you just done until you get the desired length. Depends on the yarn you're using, because this is rainbow yarn, it changes colour automatically. Though you can use plain yarn and just switch the colour every so often to make a rainbow. We can just use grey and then it can be like a normal road. So once you've got the length you want it, you're going to cast off. This is really simple, again, no other stitch needed than the one you already know. So we're going to do 2 of those stitches. So again, put it through the first stitch and then the next stitch. So you've got 2 on the second needle. Then with the first needle, you want to grab the back stitch, so the first one you put on there, and then you're going to pull that over the second stitch, and then you're going to drop that off like that, and that's how you cast off. And you just repeat this. So you're always going to want 2 stitches on that second needle. So now we're going to do another 1 stitch, so you now you've got 2 stitches on that second needle again. Then you grab the back one and you pull it over and drop it off again, and then you just keep repeating this until obviously there's no more stitches except for the one left right at the end. So this is what you're left with, and all you have to do here is just cut off the yarn and pull it through, pull it tight, and then that knots itself up. And then you're just going to take a needle and you're going to thread this end bit onto the needle, and then you're just going to hide the end in the stitches. And you also want to do this to the end that will be left at the beginning. It sounded a bit backwards, that did. That little bit of thread where you started, that's dangling somewhere at the beginning. You want to hide that as well. So now I'm making the tassely bits, and I've got about 8 bits of yarn here, black and white. Then I've got a bit of thread that's folded in half, and as it's folded in half I'm threading it on a needle. So still folded in half, I haven't straightened it out. And the tassels, make them however long you want, so it depends what kind of look you're going after. So I'm going to take the tassels, put it through the hoopy bit of the folded thread like that. Then I'm going to use this to pull the yarn through the scarf. So I'm going to just put the needle in between 2 stitches, then I'm going to pull them through. If they don't go through, you might want to use a couple of less bits of yarn. So you want to pull that bit of thread off, and you're going to take the bits of yarn and just knot it onto the scarf, and that will create the tassels. And then you want to do this along the whole edge, both edges, each side of the scarf. And now I'm just going to cross stitch like Mario Kart characters and like the banana skins and things. Basically I'm creating little patches that I'm going to sew on to the scarf. So the easiest way I found to do this is just cross stitching. You can find like hammer bead patterns and stuff from the Mario Kart characters online. I actually just copied some patterns from the Super Nintendo calendar from last year, because I had some Mario Kart like pixel bits in there, so I just copied directly from that. And this is the banana one that I made. I also, with this, I covered the outside of it, just painted some 3D paint, craft paint on there, and this just stops it from frailing or anything when I cut it. And then I just cut around it, and that pretty much creates the little patch. And all that's left to do is to sew these on to the scarf. So be careful when you do this, you don't want to like cut too close to the stitches, just in case you accidentally cut through a stitch. So just work out where you want the characters to go. Poor Toad getting hit there, but Bowser seems pretty pleased with himself with that. So all you have to do is literally just get some thread. You want some thin thread so it doesn't like show up a lot on the back, and you just have to do a simple like slip stitch or running stitch, whatever you feel comfortable doing, and just sew these on. And there's loads of different things you can do with these. You can obviously do completely different characters. There's actually a character I've used who's not actually in the game, but she likes to race. Can you spot her? She's like pretty easy to see, but that's it. So thanks for watching. If you make one, send me a picture on like Twitter or something, and I'd love to see it. So thanks for watching again. Bye.